Hello, and welcome to the Caring Instinct podcast with Joe and Olga. And we've got something different for you prepared today. We were talking about apparently there's a new trend in publishing in children's books, which is all about books about feelings and about mindfulness. So that got us talking and sort of took us on a path. And we brought to you today the books, some of which are about feelings and some are not. Some are children's classics, but they are the books that we love and that our families love. Is that right, Joe?
It is, yeah. I've gone for kind of a classic one and maybe one a less known one, and a bit different to some of the ones we were talking about. Though some of the ones we were talking about before were kind of we were a little bit concerned. They were a bit maybe more of a teaching hat on when you have them of teaching. The ones I've gone for more of really just making space for the emotion, just to explore it more than to learn about it.
None of them have been published this year, but
No,
we are very excited to share them
don't
with
think
you.
so. No.
Would you like to start?
Shall I start? Right, my first one is I'm sure most people will know this one, Where the Wild Things Are, by, can you say his name?
Maurice Sendak.
Maurice Sendak. That's it. I don't never know if I can pronounce it right. He is this was in 1960s originally. And the emotion that it explores for me is frustration and anger. And it's all about a boy. I think his name is Max. There he is. And he gets into trouble very early on in the book with his parents, and he gets sent to his room without any dinner for causing mischief. And he becomes a wild thing. And he goes off. His room turns into a jungle. And he goes on this big adventure. And he meets up with monsters, and he goes over, there's some monsters, and he tames the monsters, and he becomes wild, and then he finds some rest with them as well. I think that's rest. And he says goodbye to them, and then all done in time for, I think that's the end. All done in time for tea. And so yeah, that is Where the Wild Things Are. Really great book for exploring frustration and anger.
Yes.
And that one of the reasons why I went for that one as well, that's maybe not the most, but I think it's definitely up there. One of the emotions that we don't have space for in children. We really want to teach it out of them or get away from them. We want to socialize it, anger, frustration out of children. It's not something that maybe a lot of us think that we should be seeing, but as you know, in the Caring Instinct, for our model, we really invite all of these feelings. The anger is just as important as joy, and these things, and they all have work to do. And Jenny, so I like these ones where they give anger and frustration an invitation to be explored.
And it's
I'm sure you know that one, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's we love it. And it's so interesting to see, like with my son, when he will go for this book.
Yeah.
When he needs it, because we play it out too, like different monsters, we do different voices for them, because the pictures are, goodness, they're a little disturbing actually.
The monsters are.
He goes all
and one of them
in.
is just pictures, no words for a few of the pages, but you really see the monsters. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So for those pages, we had our monster song. That was different sounds that the monsters made, and we kind of lent into it.
Monster song.
Yes.
Are you willing to sing it?
No.
Okay.
No chance. But it is, it's this playing with this emotion, going into this because basically what happened, yeah, Max is sent to his room, so he's bad, and he's like, he's angry and he's wild. He's like, okay, I will be mad then and bad, right? And he goes for it. And the monsters, and there's some interesting attachment also, because the bosses say, oh, don't go, we'll eat you up, we love you so.
Yeah.
So there's also this interesting kind of alarm, attachment based game going on.
Yeah, it's good. Funnily enough, my kids, we've read it with them, but they're not really taken to it in that way yet, exploring it. But it's, yeah.
There is the trio, the 3 books by Maurice Sendak, and I think because yours are 2 and 4, and
Yeah.
they might, in the Night Kitchen might be more their age, because it's supposed to, I think his idea was you progress from In the Night Kitchen to Where the Wild Things Are to, I can't unfortunately remember the third one, but I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to exploring that too. So and because Max is sent to his room without any dinner, and in
Yes.
the end
His dinner just appears.
his dinner appears and it was still warm.
Yeah.
So my
So
son
there's
loves
always
that.
that thing where it's like a big journey. It takes forever and a long time. It's like, but then really, is it just a few minutes, of
Yes.
anger and frustration? And then yeah.
And it's kind of that unmerited grace almost.
Yeah. And that's I like that supper is there at the end as well. That it's got
Yes.
the kind of an acceptance of it in that message. So yeah, that's mine. How about yours? What have
I
you gone for?
brought Today I Feel an Alphabet of Feelings by Madalena Moniz, who I couldn't find a lot of information about her. She's based in Lisbon, and she's a picture book author and illustrator. All it is in this book is there's a letter and a feeling and a beautiful picture. There's
Yeah.
no explanation. There's no sort of hierarchy. Oh, we prefer positive emotions to negative emotions. There's so many here. So I thought I'll show you. That was for a while my son's favorite page. A for
Adored.
adored. And it's all this little boy, and this we always talk about, oh, look, there are his pictures. This is him with his little bucket and spade at the beach, and this is him hugging his doggy, and this is him as a little baby. And his mom and dad cherish everything, every moment about him, and they put all these pictures up, and he's feeling adored. So my son loves listening to this and drawing parallels, hopefully, and all. So what I love about this book, this is what I call a talking book. There isn't much text, so you make your own story. This is not a book for a tired parent. I've been known to say, oh no, let's read let's read Room on the Broom, because I can just follow
Can't just get
the
through it. Yeah.
story. Yes, and get this is a book for conversations, but they're really important. Some of them are really cryptic. It's like you make of it what you like. B for
Yeah.
brilliant. C, what do you think is C?
C for
Curious.
curious.
And of course, the picture, my son will be like, Mommy, what are these?
Yeah.
What are... Like, well, I don't know. That's what we're curious about. I am like
What's
you. I'm feeling curious here.
well, I'm curious what it's got for X.
For X,
Yeah.
let's jump to
Let's
X.
see
Let's
X.
see.
I like
Let's
how
see.
some of them they're not obvious feeling words as well.
Oh, no, no, no. XOXO.
XOXO, yeah.
And there's a boy and a girl, and that is hello from D. Daring.
Mm.
Well, the boy, I think, just about dares to kiss the girl. Some of them. What do you think is I?
I would be what would I be? I've not got it.
It's
I think
not
I'm
easy to
thinking of
guess.
ink now. Invisible, yeah.
Invisible,
Yeah.
yes.
So a
But
lot
it's
of the
like,
words are um not necessarily feeling words on their own, but
yeah,
they produced feelings as well, which maybe like invisible might be, might bring joy, might bring
exactly.
sadness.
We always
So there's
say,
yeah,
is
it
it
doesn't
nice?
that's
Is it
quite nice
nice
about
or
it. It
not?
doesn't give
Exactly.
you the answer almost. Yeah.
Feeling invisible, sometimes you're like, what am I invisible here? And sometimes it's a superpower.
Yeah.
You're
So it's a
invisible.
nice playful, but it gives you the opportunity to really find the feelings yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And to tell your own stories. Some of them are K for kind.
Kind. Yeah.
Just look at this picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And my son would ask me, so what does this picture mean? What's this kind? And the best I could come up with is when we're feeling kind, we feel like we are part of something bigger,
Yeah.
or we've got the support of something or someone bigger behind us, and we're feeling generous and kind. There's one absolutely brilliant. I love this page. J
Jealous.
for
Yeah. Oh, I get that
jealous.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. And also
Got the red kite as well.
the red kite. Why the kite?
Yeah, yeah.
We say, well, maybe you're jealous of someone. So this boy is inside and he's looking at this kite who's outside and who is flying the kite, or maybe he's jealous of the kite because it can fly, or maybe. And my son will now freely use, oh, I'm a bit jealous of my little brother. Oh, I'm jealous of like my friend who's got, I don't know, a PlayStation or something. And I love it. I wouldn't be able to say I was jealous as a child, because that's such a not a good emotion, but so human.
Yeah, and that's a big step as well from the starting to have the starting to notice the emotion, starting to really feel the emotion and find your language for them as well. It's a huge developmental step, and to be able to own them in that way, there's no right or wrong. It's just this is the word
Yes.
that fits. When you find the word that fits as well, it's really like a movement in it. It's really part of that emotion moving and almost completing. Like when they find the words "I'm frustrated" and it matches up and it works, just a release in itself.
Yes. And yeah, so the book that goes way beyond, what is it? Sad, happy,
Yeah, the
angry.
classics.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And a great talking book, An Alphabet of Feelings by Madalena Moniz.
Okay, and my second one is the Lonely Tree. So this is I chose one which is I thought was quite well known. This one maybe not so. This is all about grief, loss, and sadness. And the reason I like it is the pictures. It's quite a simple story in a way, but the
Mm-hmm.
pictures are more really clear and digitalized and it's about an oak tree, a young oak tree who gets born and he grows up. Oh, sorry, no, there's the young one, and he meets another oak tree,
Is
and they
that an
become
acorn?
That's an acorn, yeah. And that's the big oak, and the big oak tells them stories about the forest, and they bond, and they become attached, and they spend time together. And then well, then they go through the seasons. I won't show you them all. And then when it comes to winter and snow, and then as the spring comes the next year, the new oak finds that his friend doesn't wake up, doesn't come back to life, and he finds his tears. There you go. And I won't tell you the ending, but he finds his tears, and then something happens, and then yeah, it's called The Lonely Tree. So it's quite a simple story with sadness, joy, grief, loss, and but the thing that I like about it is the pictures, and it's a very moving story. Yeah, what do you think?
I think I'm very curious how what's your experience of like your children, for example, reading it? Is that too much? Is that
No, they're again maybe a bit too young to really go into it now, but very happy to read it and explore. And my daughter's just starting to you know, find the word dead and notice that things die, and you know, there's a worm that's dead, and we were looking at old pictures the other day, and some of the people in there were dead, and she's interested. It's a bit interested, but she's not. As the way I find with sometimes they go through a developmental phase, and then all of a sudden they're hit by the world of what can happen and stuff like that, and everything, and all these emotions come back. She's not quite got there yet to really feel it yet. It's almost like things are dead, but they'll be alive again in the next minute, or they'll come back. So yeah, I feel like it might be close, but not quite yet.
interesting? I don't know how true this is, but my feeling is that in more modern books and films, no one is quite dead. There's always a happy ending at the end.
Yeah, well, that's Hollywood.
Whereas,
Hollywood stories. Yeah.
whereas when you take something older, oh, we watched The Never Ending Story with my son, and that when the horse dies in the swamp, and he was just in absolute shock
Yeah.
because he's not used to this in art, and he was looking at me like the horse is really dead. And I wonder, what do you think about that? Are we not
I
are we
think it's a
not
big temptation, isn't it? Just to put it in, to add that happy ending, and it's hard. We kind of want to move. Yeah, we want to move. I'm torn, really. I think it's good for to have both, but I notice as well, like you, there's too much. There's too many happy endings. It's good that never, you know, the ones where things just they end on that sad note is it's more, there's more of an invitation there for the sadness to exist. It doesn't have to move through. But then of course the answer in death for me is how to hold on to that person. So there is a it does move through these things, and it does that you can find happiness afterwards. So yeah,
that's where my last book comes in. We talked about it, we mentioned it last time. Have you guys got it?
we've got that one. Yeah,
Yes.
I know that one.
No Matter What by Debi Gliori, written and illustrated. This book gave us so much with my son. It gave us the language. I'll show you for what. Small was feeling grim and dark, playing toss and fling and squash, yell and scream and bang and crash, break and snap and bash and batter. Good grief, said Large, what is the matter? Small said, I'm a grim and grumpy little Small, and nobody loves me at all. Oh, Small, said Large, grumpy or not, I'll always love you no matter what. And then Small proceeds to say, but will you still love me if I'm like that or like this? If I was a grizzly bear, would you still love me and would you care? Of course, said Large, bear or not, I'll always love you no matter what. What if I turned into a bug? And what if I was a crocodile? And Large finds reassurance for every form and shape that Small could possibly take. He will still be loved. Or she. That's what I love about this book. You know, in my family with the boys, it's he, but Small could be a boy or a girl, and Large could be anyone who would be privileged to be in that role. And at last, at the end, they managed to bridge death, right? They managed to. That's Gordon Newfield's term when we bridge separation. Instead of saying, "Oh, we'll be apart during the school day. Yes, we'll miss each other," we look at our next point of connection. I'm looking forward to being together, to picking you up, to after school seeing your face, going getting an ice cream and all that. And even in death, we talked about it in our previous episode of the Caring Instinct podcast. So if you're curious, I'd direct you there. But look at these illustrations too. I was looking for posters from this book. I could put every single picture on my wall, and unfortunately haven't found them yet. And I wish I could tell Debi Gliori that she should do posters. The detail, like for example, obviously Small and Large are foxes. And here in their house, there's a picture of how to open any bin, any type of bin, a wheelie bin. So it's funny things like this. And look at this grim and grumpy little Small. That just gave us the language. Like I say with my child, he would say, I'm feeling grim and dark, and I want to bash and crash. And we would build towers and he would crash them. I always still love you no matter what.
Still love it now.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's a good one, really invitational book as well for everything, and more with the like for instance where the wild things are not that much attachment in it. It's more he's more, even though that it's there at the beginning and maybe the end, there's a bit open there. There's you know, a large and a small going through these emotions, so it's yeah.
I wonder if because there's this rupture of connection in Where the Wild Things Are, because he's the boy is sent to his room.
Yeah.
So it's definitely separation-based discipline.
Yes.
It's basically a timeout, isn't it? And I wonder if this is why he goes so far into the land of monsters, to the point where they want to hold on to him.
Yeah.
But then he feels that pull to come back.
Yeah, it comes back, and
thankfully there's dinner.
there's that connection there with the dinner. So it's kind of full circle. Yeah. Okay, thank you for tuning in to another episode. I think we're gonna put the video up for this one, aren't we?
Definitely.
So yeah, keep following us, give us a like, check out the podcast as well, and stay tuned for more of what we're doing.
So
See you next
yes,
time.
but I'll just add, if it's a little bit frustrating to hear about all the illustrations in books while you are, for example, listening to the Caring Instinct while driving or something, we will put the video on our Facebook page. Please check it out.
See you there.
And thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.